Hello, I'm Mbweha. You can call me Ben of Team Relentless, and this is how to play Star Wars Legion in Tabletop Simulator on your computer. Let's get started right away. The first thing that you're going to need to do is own Tabletop Simulator. So in Steam Store, I'm going to type in Tabletop, and it comes up right away. You can see it's $20 regular price, but it goes on sale for 50% off anytime Steam has a sale, so you can watch out for those sales. Once you've purchased it, you're going to need to go into the community, and in community, go to Community Workshop. In the Community Workshop, if you've never been here before, the first thing you need to do is find the game you're looking for. So I'm looking for workshop items in Tabletop Simulator. So first I have to filter everything down to Tabletop Simulator. And now that I'm in here, I can search for Star Wars Legion. There are 3 mods I want to bring to your attention. The original mod by Tyrion, which is slowly fading out of use as it is not as up to date as the updated testing mod by Decaf. So this is the one that I would recommend you get. Doesn't hurt to get them both. You just click the little check mark and then you start to get it. So the GitHub edition right here that you can see by Decaf is the one that I have been told is the expected to be used going forward. So keep that in mind. Also want to point out that there is a community content mod that is a work in progress. It's pretty cool. They've got custom first order faction, resistance faction, a bunch of other stuff. So if you're interested in that, take a look. In addition to downloading these mods, you are also going to look for map packs. And there are some maps that come preloaded in the mod, and I've been told that right now there's like 20 maps in there, and it really slows down the mod, and I've been told they're going to hone it down to like 6 featured maps or something like that. So if you want to be able to play on maps other than those 6 featured ones, you're going to want to download some map packs here. I highly recommend you check out Nerfly's maps. You can see the third result here was by Nerfly. I'm going to click on Nerfly's name. This is my teammate Nerfly. He makes the best maps in the game. I would download the the YBTL Season 4 and the Invader League Season 5 maps are 2 great map packs. So download those, and then you're ready to start playing the game. So head into your library and load up the game. When you load up the game, it is going to look like this. And the first thing you're going to need to do is create a game. If you're playing with somebody else, you could join the game that they've hosted, but we're going to create a game. I'm going to host a single-player game right now because I'm not playing with anyone. But if I was playing with somebody, I'd need to do a multiplayer game. So single-player game, and right here you can see the most recent things I've used in Workshop. But if I click on Workshop, I can see all the different Workshop items I've got here. But I'm going to open up that GitHub edition right here by Decaf, load that up. Takes a second to load. There are a lot of assets in here. One of the things that the dev crew is working on is cleaning up, like I mentioned, some of the maps and other things that are in it, make it load a little bit cleaner, a little bit faster. So here we go. We're in the mod. Now, the first thing that you'll need to know is how to manipulate, how to move around in this. If you've ever played something like Roller Coaster Tycoon, Planet Coaster, simulation games like that, it's the same. So you use your WASD keys to move around like a first-person shooter. You use your mouse wheel to scroll in and out, and then you right-click to kind of pin a position on the map so that you can rotate your camera. You also can use, I think, that's how you want to get around. And then you left-click on stuff. So with using that, you'll be able to do everything you need to do. So. Yeah, that's how you move around. It might take some getting used to it first, but after you've played around with it for, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, you'll be fine. Okay, so now we need to get ready to play. So let's get ready to play. The first thing you need to play is an army, right? So let's go over down here in the bottom left. You can see I can create an army. So I could create an army as red player. I could create an army as blue player. It doesn't matter because what we're going to be doing is saving this army so we don't have to recreate it each time. And then we could make it blue or red depending on what our opponent's bid is. So I'm going to click Create Army. I'm going to go ahead and make a rebel army. You can see here it generates a bunch of different spots for units. I'm not going to make a full army. I just want to show you kind of generally what it looks like. I'm going to play Han and Chewie, and let's say that I bring some rebel troopers, and I got to bring my Z6s on my rebel troopers, and tenacity on Chewbacca, and how about a ATRT with a laser cannon and a good old-fashioned air speeder with Wedge Antilles. So whatever. So there I've got not a full army. By the way, it does calculate total points here, but that's only assuming that the values in the mod are correct. So they do update the points from time to time in the RRG. So sometimes it gets updated and sometimes it doesn't. So your best bet is to build your list online with something like Tabletop Admiral or the 5th Troopers version of that, which I should really know the name of, but I forgot it. I apologize. Sorry, 5th Trooper. And then you go from there. So you just load it up in here and then can ignore the points there if you're just copying down the list from somewhere else. Once you've got it, your units good to go, you need to make sure you don't forget to do your deck builder. This is the most common things. People get excited that they built that and then they click spawn minis, and then once you've done that, you can no longer do your deck, and so you'll have to redo the whole process. So don't do that. So you can click in here and change up your different super cool cards and also the objectives that you want to play, change around with whatever. I'm just clicking stuff to show you how it works. And then once I've got all that good, I want to click Save Army. I click Save Army and it generates this data disk and it says save me, and in case you forget how to do it, it says how to save it on it. Oh, so clever. I right click and I click Save Object right here, and I save it as example army, and I save it, and I overwrite the old example army that I had in there. So now I've saved that. Yay! Once I've saved it, I can load it. I can drop it into either army slot and be blue or red player with it. But I'm going to show you how to do that later, because the other thing that we need to play is a map. Over here, you've got the main console, the command console for the mod. And if I wanted to play the learning game, I could click that. But what I really want is a map. And it comes with some pre-made maps already loaded in here. I could load some tournament maps or whatever. But some of these haven't been updated in a long time. So, some of them are great, some of them are less than great. So I highly recommend that if you're doing this in the very recent future, this is being filmed in December 2020, download a map pack. In the not too distant future, there will be featured pre-made maps of very high quality. But we want to load a map, right? So we downloaded that map pack. In order to load that map, we need to actually go into games and oh yeah, let me make sure I show you how I did that. I clicked on games because I'm going to now load one of the map packs. So I'm going to load this map pack up, and I'm going to right click the map that I want to play. This Scarif one is my very favorite map in the whole game right now. So I'm going to right click it and save object and just save, click save, it's saved in my objects. And now I need to head on back into my Legion mod. And you'll notice, oh no, it lost my army, but I saved it, so it's fine. We're good. Okay, so now I'm ready to load my map. So I click on objects, and it's got pre-loaded objects, but I want the saved objects. And you can see here I've saved some stuff, and I've got the Scarif, Our Most Desperate Hour map. I'm going to single click and drag it right onto the map loader. Click on Maps, Load Map. And here it comes. Okay, voila. Oh, so beautiful. There's a little note right here. By Nerfly, Artist, SJ, and Comrade RDM. Yay, thank you. Ooh, we don't want that on the table, so we're going to left click it to drag it and move it away. Or I can, while holding it, press the delete button. I also could have right clicked and selected delete as well. So now I've got my super awesome looking map, and I need my super awesome looking army. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to save objects and grab that example army that I was making earlier. And again, I just drag and I drop it right on the data disk mount, and I click load army. There's my army, hooray. I'm gonna go ahead and put in a blue army, good old triple bike, what I'm known for, onto the other side as well, just so that we can see a full army and a partial army. Now, right now, notice that I can't see any of the command cards on either side, and that's because I have not assigned myself a player color. In the upper right, I'm gray player, which is a spectator. So I need to click there and say change color. I can click, again, gray is spectator. If I click black, I'll be able to see everything, which is like what a judge would need to be in a tournament. But I'm going to be the red player for this example. Watch the command cards and what happens when I select red. Ta-da! Now I've got this secret hidden section is now something that I can see. So even if I flip my opponent's cards right, I can't see them because they're in the hidden portion of their hand. It's also, there's like a quick draw hand down at the bottom. If you wanted that quick draw hand to go away, you would press, and I know this is hard to remember, the H key for hand, and it goes away. And you can press the H key for hand to bring it back if you so desire. All right, if you're going to be playing in a game versus somebody, it is also generally considered courteous to color your bases, because obviously, in real life, we'd have painted our troopers to be easily identifiable as different units, but these are totally identical, literally. They've got little tiny numbers on the leaders to show that like this is unit 3, but we want to fix that. So what we want to do is we're going to left click and drag a box over all the models in a unit, and then this is important, hold control and press the unit ID token, and that is a next level play right there. And then we can right click and change the color tint. Because this is the red player, I'm going to make all of the colors warm tones. If I was a blue player, I'd make them cool tones. So I highlight Chewbacca, hold control, and select the unit ID token and make him a warm color. It remembers my most recent colors, so if I was a red player recently, there it would be. Again, highlighting them all, control click, color tint. Some people feel like this takes a long time. You get used to it. It does not take long to quickly fire these off. Let's see, I don't have a nice shade of brown yet, so we'll do that. I think I have a really dark red, super dark red, yeah. And then my airspeeder here will be all dirty yellow. Okay, so there we go. So now I've got easily identifiable colored bases, and if once these are out on the board and I'm, inevitably my white saves are failing and I'm losing models, I know where to put the model. I put the model back on that unit card to clearly show where it's been lost from, and can easily keep track of if units are destroyed or not. So that is coloring the bases. The next thing I'm going to need to do in order to be playing this game is I'm going to want to probably go to Options, Grid, Show Lines. Why? Because we don't have range rulers in this, and having these grids out can be pretty helpful for quickly measuring things. So this is one of the things that you'll probably want on during deployment is the grid, and then you usually turn it off after deployment. The other thing that you might need to do is switch the map edge. So if blue player is thinking, hey, I want to switch the map edge, I deployed on the wrong side, you don't need to redeploy. Go over to the console, and right here it says flip map. So I can just click flip map. Voila, map flipped. So there we go. Now I would be almost ready to start deploying my armies, right? So the other thing that you do before any game of Star Wars Legion, you need to talk about the terrain. So well-made maps in the game, if you hover on them, they will give you advice about how to define the terrain. And they're usually super credible and great, depending on who made the map. Nerflies are almost always beautiful, wondrous things, but you still should look over them with your opponent ahead of time and say, whoa, what's going on with these palm trees? Oh, I can see that this is light cover area terrain, and that see how it says minis size 1.5 and below? That's who it gives light cover to. So you don't actually worry about the height of the objects, because that's really hard to measure in TTS. You just trust that the map maker has already established the intended height for terrain. Well, what's a mini size 1.5, Ben? See all this garbage in the bottom right? Those are the sizes of all the minis. So I can see here that 1.5 and below means the saber and smaller. So the only thing that's not going to get cover from this area terrain is my airspeeder, womp womp, an AAT or the ATST. And if you put in an actual on an actual table, we would say, wait a minute, that's tall enough that it should give cover. And if you want to do that with your opponent, you know, you and your opponent, you define the terrain. Usually map makers intentionally think about this as they're making the map. A really well-made map will have thought that out in advance. So anyway, there's different advice, kind of quick advice is you quickly hover over something for if it's heavy or light, hover for longer to see the details. Underneath the cover situation for who gets cover, it does say trooper, ground vehicle, repulsor, and then advice about if it should be impassable, difficult to move over, or open to move over. Sometimes there is some confusion when something says for repulsor, it might say the sides are impassable. Wait a minute, the sides are impassable? I can't go over this? It's height 1. Well, your airspeeder card says that it's speeder 2. When moving, ignore terrain that is height 2 or lower. So yeah, it says impassable, but that just means, but you don't care. You ignore everything about it when you're moving your airspeeder, okay? So sometimes that causes confusion with what impassable means on different walls. It means you literally can't move through it. It doesn't mean that you can't climb over it or fly over it and things like that. Okay, it's not like an infinitely tall wall. Sometimes that's a common point of confusion for newer TTS players. Excellent. Now I'm just about ready to play. I need to generate the battle deck, right? So my battle deck automatically was made over here, and it's going to use blue player's battle deck, which is going to be from over here. I don't care. It's whatever. And you don't need to shuffle this up. If you wanted to shuffle it, you could press R, but it automatically shuffles it when it pulls it over here. So now I'm ready to go back, use the back button to go to the setup function, and I'm going to click blue player define battlefield, and it's just going to pull cards and automatically generate this based on the cards that are in that little stack there. And then I would, blue player says I don't want to play payload, and red player says I pass, and then blue player says aha, I really wanted key positions, and then red player goes, well, I don't want to play danger close, and then you're good to go. And you click next. And then here are your objectives and conditions and all that good stuff. You can see that it automatically put down the deployment zone for us. When you're ready to get rid of that, you click this little red button, whomp, whomp, it comes back. You're gonna need to put these out into the world, and you can sometimes the objectives you can respawn the objectives if for some reason you lost them, so that's a thing. And then same with the condition tokens. A note about some of the tokens have little special buttons on them, like the mines. You click the R and it shows you range 1. How convenient. This is a good time to talk about what the L key does. The L key, and I know this will be hard to remember, locks things in place. So if you wanted this object locked so you don't accidentally bump it later, now that I've pressed L, I can't select it. Hover on it and press L to make it so you can move it again. Every once in a while, you'll accidentally do that to a piece of terrain, and you'll be a very sad panda, so be careful to not unlock terrain and make it go flying off into the abyss. All right, now I believe I am ready to deploy, and so we're going to do that. How to actually play the game in the next video. So this is all about how to get set up and ready to play a game of Legion in Tabletop Simulator. I'm Mbweha. You can call me Ben of Team Relentless. Please check the description for the next video, which is going to be how to actually play a game of Legion in Tabletop Simulator. Roll well, my friends.